So to a non-cami subject, thank goodness, since I love my sister's dog, although I would prefer to be getting back to doing the commentary and analysis that I'm trying to do and help change the world a little bit. One of the issues I wanted to talk about was the Supreme Court ruling on the issue of whether one can list Jerusalem, Israel, as his or her birthplace. Apparently not. So Jerusalem just becomes that city that doesn't belong to anyone. And as complicated as anyone would try to make the issue, we all know that the issue as to why Jerusalem would be just Jerusalem as opposed to Jerusalem, Israel, is one simple issue, and that's anti-Semitism. And even in terms of a comparison, people are talking about how, for example, they have found Buddha statues and other Buddhist architecture and what have you in Afghanistan, now how a Chinese mining company is trying to destroy the ancient structures and what have you in order to do the mining or whatever. I didn't really read about it. I just signed a petition, and I was thinking to myself, and then of course I saw the headlines on the Atlantic when an article was shared about what's going on with the Israeli quote-unquote Palestinian conflict. In the headline, it says global, Afghanistan's Buddhas rise again. The Taliban destroyed the ancient monuments in 2001, but they've been recreated with the help of lasers. And I signed a petition because I create petitions on change.org myself, and I was sitting there thinking, when I signed a petition in regards to the Buddhas and the Chinese mining issues, I sat there thinking to myself, you know what, this is the way that I would want people to treat Jerusalem, and this is the way that I want people to treat the rest of Israel. Instead of stepping all over Jerusalem and telling Jews whether or not the Jews are in Israel or in a diaspora here like me, you know what, bleep you, I would want people to say, hey, Jerusalem, this is where Jews have been ever since. I'm not good with math, so forgive me if this is, well, 15,000 BC. I don't know why I was going to say, or 15,000 BC, whichever one you use. I don't know why I was going to go back like to 3,000 BC or whatever, but I guess like I'm associating 3,000 years ago, 3,000 BC, whatever, point being. So my point is, in terms of the Buddhas in Afghanistan and the Chinese mines, in the same way that people are outraged over the Buddhas being destroyed in Afghanistan, that's what I would want to happen to Jerusalem. That is, I would want people to be outraged that the so-called Palestinians and other anti-Semites are trying to continue to step over Israel. Of course, the issues become more complicated when you have headlines like this. For example, in the Times of Israel, this is from last week, but this still goes to show you why electing Netanyahu for another term was trouble. U.S.-born soldier tried for eating pork. If you read the whole headline, a U.S. soldier who had made Aliyah was at his grandmother's house. He had a ham sandwich, tried to share some ham sandwiches with kids, got punished because he wasn't eating kosher, and his sentence was reduced. At the same time, no, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the state of Israel that's founded on the Declaration of Establishment, and they're punishing a kid for eating a ham sandwich. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So unfortunately, the government of Israel is not helping matters right now, and so I would think that if those in Israel want people to be outraged at Jerusalem continue to be stepped on, I think the government of Israel needs to start holding to the Declaration of Establishment, and then people will see, oh, wait a minute, so this isn't just Agudat Yisrael and Netanyahu and everyone else just throwing another fuss. This is Jewish people both within Israel and outside of Israel saying, you know what, Jerusalem is ours. Yerushalayim hi ha'ir shel Yisrael. That is, Jerusalem, she's the city that belongs to Israel.